Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Kitty here, and today we're back with another video. Haven't talked to you guys in a while. I've been on hiatus. No, I've just been super busy over the summer working and all that fun stuff and trying to get my life together more or less. But what I wanted to talk about today was more or less this big epidemic of all these kids not only being influenced by rappers, but just by like their friends and stuff, but you know, like media and all that shit, and why they keep going for, you know, Percocets and Xanax and stuff, and they're doing like all these stupid prescription drugs, and I really don't understand why people are doing this. Like kids, more or less, we're gonna focus on kids because like that's more or less the age group that it's problematic with. Just so many people I know, well, not really that I know, but so many people out there are just constantly just like popping Xanax and all that shit like that, when it's not even close to being healthy for you. No prescription drug is really healthy for you. Not really any drug is healthy for you, to be honest. Everything has its drawbacks, you know, but Xanax and stuff like that, the more potent stuff, has even worse drawbacks than other things, which really concerns me on why people are even taking them at the fact and matter of that they are, and the quantity that they are. Because people are taking like so many milligrams or such and such, whatever it's measured in, and are just getting like fucking really fucked up, like barred out as they call it with Xanax, where they're just like fucking literally killing their brain cells and becoming a quote-unquote bartard, which they also is a nickname for someone who takes so much Xanax that like they're fucking brain dead practically. And yes, you know, you have to take an excessive amount all the time type thing. Something that has that ability, I wouldn't even trust for a second even taking it as like a prescription thing. I just think medicine like that, like if you have a medication that you're on that has like those effects if you take it in too high of a dose or whatever, I don't know, I personally would rethink taking it, because some of the medications out there that they prescribe, they're like, oh yeah, this will help you with blah blah blah, whatever. No, if it has that high of a risk, I think it's ridiculous, and it's even more ridiculous to have a trained professional, quote-unquote, to even prescribe things like that. I don't know why young people are attracted to it so much. I don't know, maybe it's like the media or because of the rappers and music that they listen to and stuff, and, you know, they think it's cool because, you know, there's all these rappers now that are, like, drinking lean, doing Xanax and all that shit, and people are doing that. But I don't understand why, you know, like, okay, I can understand, like, weed and whatever, and, like, you know, I don't approve of harder drugs, but I can understand why they're doing harder drugs and stuff, like rappers and stuff. But I don't understand why they turn to prescription drugs, more or less, because it's not really cheaper. If anything, it's more expensive, and it's ridiculous to me, because you know, you never see like the old school rappers, you know, being like, oh yeah, man, I was selling drugs to kids on the block, whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, these guys were like slinging fucking, you know, like coke, heroin, and all that shit. Now, I'm not saying that's any better, but it's just sad to see them move on to these prescription drugs that maybe, you know, a lot of adults in America are prescribed, because we're like one of the most heavily medicated countries around. These rappers are taking prescription medicines that, you know, the kids' parents could be on, and that just gives them easier access to, you know, get those drugs, and that's not good for anyone, especially the kids, because, you know, might be, you know, obviously if they're older, you know, they might know better, they might not, but, you know, they'll be like, oh yeah, bro, I love Little Yachty, yeah, songs we talk about Xanax and shit. I found some Xanax in my mom's cabinet, and I popped a few, man. Yo, it's lit. Like, no, it's not lit. You're gonna be fucking brain dead in a matter of like a couple months. Like, it's just ridiculous. And the problem is, like, the pharmaceutical companies don't fucking care. They'll put out shit that'll fucking kill you in one shot, and just be like, oh, well, you can prescribe this for whatever, but just be careful with it, type thing. It's just ridiculous with the pharmaceuticals in this country nowadays. They can get away with so much, and it's just so shitty to see how influential it is on these, like, young kids, and, you know, they're just doing these hard fucking drugs, and it's not helping anyone. And I can understand, you know, like I said, like weed or whatever, because, okay, obviously it's not the best thing in the world for you, I mean, it's better than a lot of other things out there, but, you know, nothing is, you know, great for you. There's nothing out there that's going to be a miracle drug or whatever. But, you know, just the fact that people are turning from, you know, maybe something like marijuana where it has some, you know, medicinal and medical use, they're going from this to, you know, dropping fucking bars and shit of Xanax all the time. And with doing that, you know, it's just fucking, it's really killing like a generation of kids, really, or at least disabling them in some ways, but it's just not helpful for anyone. And that's the thing, like, you know, people may think nothing of it, but you gotta realize, like, they're the next step up. Like, we are the next step up that's going to replace the current people in the workforce and jobs, business, and all that stuff, you know? And do you really want a country run by people who are literally fucking zombies or like are brain dead? Because nothing's gonna get done at that point, and we'll just be in a fucking shit creek there. But that's like my kind of view on it. I honestly hate pharma and pharmaceutical companies in general. I think they're fucking ridiculous. It's a shit show. They're all influenced by politics, and they're all just really meant to, you know, kill. Pretty much. It's like I'm trying to think. It's like how when we track, like, let's say a species of animal, like let's say snakes or whatever, you know, we try to guesstimate around how many, well, actually, let's go with deer. We guesstimate how many are around a certain area or whatever, and, you know, if the deer get too out of control, like the population gets too out of control, you know, they send in hunters or whatever to die down the population. It may not seem obvious, or it may to some, and it's obvious to me, but we have population control of humans as well, which is a scary fucking thought. You know, big pharma and, you know, some other factors as well. It's just one of the sources that they use to control the human population. You know, cancer is something that controls our human population constantly, and we haven't come with a cure with it. You would think that there would be a cure already, but if you really think about it, it makes sense that there isn't a cure for it, because with the cure, there would be more of a population. And if you haven't looked over the recent years or whatever, our population has risen like super, super high since the 1800s. Back before then, it was very, very low and shit, and then we just fucking skyrocketed. We're at like, what, 7, 8 million, and if we keep going, you know, we're just gonna have nowhere to put all these fucking people, you know? So it makes sense. It's a sick fucking fact, and it sucks. You would think it would just be easier, you know, to just restrict, you know, like to a one-child rule or something like that, you know, like China does or whatever. But no, they're like, oh yeah, you know, let's fucking medicate pretty much like 90% of the U.S. and make sure that like we keep the population in control so it doesn't go out of whack or whatever, you know. Obviously, it might not be the main purpose of pharmaceuticals or whatever, but it's definitely a by standard purpose or whatever. It's one of those like side effect things that, you know, they have going for them with pharmaceuticals. So that's kind of my take. It's just too easy to access for people and stuff, and, you know, I don't understand why these rappers are encouraging it and whatever, or like just people in general are encouraging it, like friends and stuff. It's just not a cool thing to do, you know. If you're gonna do a drug or whatever, quote unquote, you know, smoke weed or drink whatever, in moderation, obviously. Don't go out like every fucking night and do it and shit. But, you know, like, do something more safe that you know won't fuck you up in the long run, you know? Because that'll not only affect you, but it'll affect others too, you know, your friends, family, whatever, if you have a family, if you have kids, stuff like that, job opportunities, etc., etc. You know, how are you gonna live your life being, you know, like, mentally impaired, mentally handicapped type thing from doing all these fucking drugs earlier on in life, and you're gonna regret it. And it's just a stupid thing to deal with, you know? No one should have to deal with that, but so that's kind of my take on, like, Xanax and all these prescription medications and stuff in the nowadays with all these kids doing that shit. Honestly, guys, if you have the opportunity to do it, don't do it. Just save yourself the hassle and, you know, go do something else. There's plenty of, you know, things online, like natural medications that you can get that are made out of, you know, like plants and stuff. Like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, my mom's like really into this type of stuff, you know, like lavender might help you sleep better type thing. So they have like a lavender pill, and it's like lavender and like maybe some other plants in there, and it does help. You know, it might not be as powerful as the pharmaceuticals. I'd rather take my chance with the lower powered stuff than, you know, something that can easily, you know, fuck me up or kill me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry I haven't uploaded in God knows how long. I've just been super busy and stuff, and I really haven't had much of a drive or anything to talk about for videos, but I thought of this today and I was like, yeah, I'll talk about it in a video, why not? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay safe. Don't do drugs, kids. And yeah, adios.